It was supposed to be just another busy morning at the international airport. Lines of travelers dragging suitcases, the echo of rolling wheels on polished tiles, the scent of coffee and jet fuel blending in the air. But in the midst of all that normalcy, a sudden bark shattered the calm. A K9 unit, usually quiet and composed, lunged forward, its handler barely holding him back. The German shepherd's sharp eyes locked onto one woman standing in line, her face calm yet tired, clutching her passport tightly against her chest. Within seconds, officers surrounded her, and the entire terminal seemed to hold its breath. No one could have imagined what the dog had sensed, or the heartbreaking secret it was about to uncover. Before we dive deeper into this powerful true story of fate, faith, and the unspoken bond between a loyal K9 and a woman hiding her pain, if you believe in kindness, second chances, or the loyalty of animals, please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales, because some stories remind us that even in our darkest moments, light can come from the most unexpected souls. The woman's name was Amira, a quiet, soft-spoken teacher from a small town who had spent months preparing for this trip. To everyone around her, she looked like any other traveler, nervous yet hopeful. But what no one knew was that this journey was her escape. Behind her composed face was a storm of grief and fear. She had lost her husband in a car accident just 8 months earlier, and since then, her life had been slipping apart piece by piece. With no family left and mounting medical bills for her ailing mother, Amira had accepted a job overseas, hoping to start anew. The flight she was about to board wasn't just a trip, it was her one shot at rebuilding her life. As she approached the passport check, her heart pounded. She had all her documents in order, or so she thought. Her hands trembled slightly, clutching the worn leather bag that contained everything she owned. Passports, papers, a small locket with her late husband's picture, and something else. Something she hadn't told anyone about. Inside a hidden pocket was an envelope. A desperate plea from her neighbor, a mother who couldn't afford medicine for her child. Amira had agreed to take a small package overseas, unaware that it contained something illegal. She thought she was helping a child survive, not smuggling danger. At that exact moment, Officer Daniel and his K9 partner, Archer, were patrolling the terminal. Archer was a seasoned German shepherd, known for his uncanny instincts. He had served for years, trained to detect explosives, narcotics, and even hidden illnesses. But what set him apart wasn't just his skill, it was his heart. Archer had once saved his handler's life during a drug raid, taking a bullet to protect him. Since then, Daniel and Archer had shared an unbreakable bond, more like brothers than partners. When Archer suddenly stiffened, Daniel immediately knew something was off. The dog's ears perked, his nose twitching toward Amira. Then came the bark, sharp, commanding, and unwavering. Passers-by froze. Amira's face turned pale. The officers stepped forward, politely asking her to step aside for a quick check. Her voice shook as she handed over her passport. Archer sat by her side, growling softly, his eyes never leaving her bag. Security protocols followed. Amira's bag was scanned, and within moments a small package wrapped in cloth was found, hidden under her belongings. The lead officer's expression hardened as the contents were revealed. Small vials containing a banned medical compound. Not explosives, not drugs, but something still illegal to carry without proper documentation. The crowd whispered. Some stared in judgment, others in fear. Tears welled in Amira's eyes as she tried to explain. Her words came out in broken sobs. She didn't know. She thought she was helping a sick child. Her mother was in the hospital. She was just trying to do something good. But the world around her didn't seem to hear that. Until Archer did something no one expected. The moment Amira began to cry, Archer's growl softened. He tilted his head, then gently approached her, sniffing her trembling hands. Instead of pulling away, he sat beside her, pressing his body against her leg as if comforting her. Daniel was stunned. K9s were trained to stay alert during searches, but Archer's behavior was different, instinctive, compassionate. He let out a soft whine, looking up at Daniel as if to say, "She's not dangerous." The officers stepped aside for a moment as Daniel crouched down beside Amira. He noticed her passport was filled with worn pages, stamps from humanitarian trips she'd taken as a volunteer teacher. There were letters in her bag, written by students from refugee camps. Everything about her spoke of kindness, not crime. Daniel's chest tightened as he realized this wasn't a smuggler. This was a woman trying to do good in a world that had given her too much pain. Still, rules were rules. She was taken for questioning. Archer refused to move until Daniel called him back. Hours later, after thorough verification, the truth finally surfaced. The package indeed contained medication, illegal to export, but meant for a child in desperate need. No criminal intent, just compassion misdirected by ignorance and desperation. Amira was cleared of charges, but her spirit was shattered. She sat alone in the waiting area, her flight long gone, her dreams feeling like sand slipping through her fingers. That's when Daniel and Archer approached her again. Without a word, Daniel sat beside her and handed her a cup of tea. Archer rested his head on her lap. For the first time that day, Amira smiled faintly, tears streaming down her face. It wasn't the smile of relief, it was the fragile, trembling smile of someone who'd been seen for who they truly were. Daniel assured her that he would personally help her rebook her flight, and the police report would show her innocence. But before she left, something remarkable happened. Archer stood, looked up at her and gave a small bark, the kind that almost sounded like encouragement. Amira knelt, stroked his fur, and whispered a thank you that only he seemed to understand. As she walked toward her gate hours later, Archer watched her until she disappeared into the crowd, tail wagging softly. Months passed. One afternoon, Daniel received a letter addressed to the K9 unit. It was from Amira. Inside was a heartfelt note and a small photo of a smiling child holding a handmade drawing of a dog. The letter said that she had safely reached her destination, started teaching again, and that the child who needed the medicine had recovered, thanks to the delay that day, which led to proper medical help through the embassy. She ended her letter with words that Daniel would never forget. "That day, I thought the dog had ruined my life, but now I know he saved it. Sometimes we don't realize how grace finds us, even when it comes with barking and uniforms." Daniel smiled, tears in his eyes as Archer wagged his tail beside him, sensing the emotion. The officer knelt and whispered, "Good boy, Archer. You didn't just protect the airport that day, you protected her heart." As the sun set over the station that evening, Archer rested his head on Daniel's lap, peaceful and proud. He didn't need medals or recognition. His reward was knowing he had done what he was born to do, serve, protect and heal. In his silent way, he had reminded everyone that sometimes true heroes don't speak our language. They simply understand our pain. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. Every story we tell celebrates the silent heroes, both human and animal, who remind us that compassion can change lives. Special request to comment. Share your thoughts below. What did you feel when Archer chose compassion over suspicion? We'd love to hear your heart.